Why is modern healing not enough? I am Sri Radha Govindadasi. I am the author of How to Mess Up Your Life with Astrology and also Anartha Nivritti 12 Steps. In today's world, we are told rewire your brain, do the inner child work, repeat affirmations, visualize success, rewrite your story. Do you relate to me? Yes, these things can help. They can soothe your nervous system. They restore a sense of control temporarily. They might even help you get a job or get a relationship or get confidence that you desire on a temporary basis. But here's the brutal truth. They often just misplace another veil over the soul. A better veil, a shinier one, but it's still a veil. You go from being an anxious achiever to a motivated overfunctioner. From a people pleaser to a boundary-setting warrior who still needs applause. It's still the ego managing pain, not the soul being revealed. So I studied psychotherapy and I also studied astrology and I studied theology, the Bhagavatology as I call it. I am a student and teacher of Srimad Bhagavatam. As an astrologer, I wrote the book How to Mess Up Your Life with Astrology. So today's video is very important basis for our course going forward. See, most astrologers today have no clue why astrology exists. They treat it like a cosmic vending machine. Punch in your date of birth, outcome, advice is better job, better spouse, better food, more comfortable cage, basically. But astrology was never meant to beautify the prison. It was meant to reveal the bars and get out of the prison house. Without Vedic perspective and the lens of cleansing ourselves, which I call the Anartha Nivritti process, astrology can also just become another samsaric loop. It's just like that guy who walks around that chain of the loop and he just keeps ending up in the same place again and again and again. Another way of becoming obsessed with karma instead of transcending it. So what's the real purpose of Jyotish? It's to eliminate the soul's entrapment so we can get out, not to get cozy here. And as a student and teacher of Srimad Bhagavatam, I say this with conviction. Most people are using astrology to delay liberation. But the rishis, they didn't study grahas to get rich. They studied them to become free. They gave the science to humanity so that we can remember why we are here, why we are in this cosmic classroom. Otherwise, astrology will be another golden chain, attractive, accurate, and absolutely binding. No, this is a controversial topic. So the harmony and the trap. Here's the paradox no one wants to admit. You can go to therapy for years, get your whole birth chart decoded, even memorize all your traumas and patterns and your nakshatras, and still you might feel stuck. Why? Still the anxious attachment. Why? You still feel unworthy. Why? Because naming the pattern is not the same as transcending it, and understanding karma is not the same as releasing it. So this is where many seekers are getting trapped. First is the psychology trap. Always analyzing, never surrendering. That's the problem with modern psychology. Astrology trap. Knowing your chart, but using it as a sentence, not as a signboard, not as a scoreboard. But both are just mirrors. They're tools. They're sacred tools. Both these mirrors don't wash the dirt. This is the truth. They just show you where it is. And what's the point if the tools become the cage? When we mistake awareness for awakening, then we are again stuck in this material cycle. And yet, the opposite mistake is also as dangerous. Rejecting psychology and astrology, saying just chant Hare Krishna or some other mantra. Nothing else matters. Jesus Christ is a superstar. Whatever religion you may follow. Spiritual bypassing. That also becomes spiritually dangerous. Why? Because it ignores emotional reality of the soul's conditioned journey. You cannot be spiritually mature if you're emotionally immature. So, psychology shows the symptoms. Astrology shows you the blueprint. Bhagavad Gita and Bhagavatam shows you the path of liberation. And most important thing, they are not at war. It's not one thing or the other. They are in harmony. It's like divine trinity, awareness, passion, transcendence. Psychology says you're hurt, and astrology says this is why you are hurt. This is your karma. And Srimad Bhagavatam says here is how we walk home to Krishna. through this pain, through this karma, through this psychology. When we bring all of this together, we stop blaming our parents or our planets or our past. We stop running from sadness of worshipping our strength. We finally sit with what is, and with compassion, clarity, and surrender, we grow. It's not just growth, it's devotion, it's bhakti, it's anartha nivritti, it's cleansing our heart, it's allowing the Lord to enter the heart. So the mantra for this course can be, I accept psychology, I study astrology, but I surrender only to God, I surrender to Krishna, because only He can unentangle what even I cannot see. Because in the end, psychology helps you cope. Astrology can help you understand. Truly, to transform, we need divine grace. We need the help of the Lord. And it doesn't just make you better, it makes you free. And the beauty of Srimad Bhagavatam is that it doesn't stop at rewiring. It asks deeper questions. What part of you thinks you're broken in the first place? Who told you that worthiness has to be earned? Why are you trying to fix what was never yours to fix? Modern trauma culture makes psychological analysis a personality. Like, I am an avoidant, I am a codependent, I am highly sensitive. And slowly we begin to build a home on the land of your pain. On the other hand, Bhagavatam teaches us you are not your attachment style, you are not your nervous system, you are not even your mind. You are an eternal servant of Krishna, you're covered by layers of karma and misidentification, and there are ways to work through that. And until healing leads you back to the Lord, it remains just another detour, okay? We're just stuck in the same loop. Another version of false self-learning, another version of how to survive and never surrender. So what actually heals? Like I said earlier, the rishis didn't do mindset coaching. They didn't reframe their thoughts. They offered themselves in the fire of transformation. And what were their tools? Their tools were tapasya, conscious discomfort that purified their soul, mantras, sacred sound vibrations, giving the time of the day, chant the holy name so that we can purify our subtle body, not just the mind. And then tears of prayer, not to fix the past, but to melt the ego. So clear. Then sadhu sangha, association with those who are reflecting on their higher self, those who are working on their wounds and walking towards the path of self-realization. And most of all, remembering the Lord, always remembering and putting God in the center. Even Arjuna, the great warrior of all the warriors, he collapsed on the battlefield. So that point of vulnerability, and at that point, Krishna didn't give him a pep talk or affirmations. He gave him the truth, not a coping skill, but a revelation of who he truly was. The brain can be rewired, but the most important thing for the soul is to remember who we are. We are the children of God. You can learn distress tolerance, you can master emotional regulation, but if you still think you have to carry it all alone, then that kind of healing will exhaust you, not liberate you. The Bhagavatam doesn't say be strong, it says surrender. That's the strength. So the real medicine is not about suppression, not bypassing, but to go deeper, beneath the discomfort, to meet the soul naked, humble, vulnerable, surrender. Because true healing is not just something about feeling better. It's about remembering who you were before the pain. And that's not something therapy can explain. It's something Krishna reveals in the scriptures. When you can finally say, I want freedom more than I want comfort. So the purpose of this series I'm making, the purpose behind this integration is, okay, yes, understanding your patterns and then going towards liberation. What are we truly doing here? We're not just naming wounds. We're not just decoding birth charts and Sun and Saturn. We're not even just chanting mantras for good vibes. We're actually weaving the tools of modern mind and the understanding patterns, map of your karmic soul, karmic patterns, and then medicine for that eternal structure. So in one sacred path towards one goal that truly matters. What is that? Liberation from suffering and surrender to God. Because pain is not random. It's a signal, a divine flare, a divine pain that is telling the soul, look here, something is stuck. You've been here before. So we pause and then we witness the patterns psychologically, emotionally, and then we trace astrologically what planet is it? Sun is starred by Saturn. What is going on here? Then we open the Srimad Bhagavatam and then suddenly we see ourselves that in the tears of Parikshit Maharaj, in the surrender of Dhruva Maharaj, in the fearlessness of Prahlad, in the fall and redemption of Ajamila, in the exile of Bali Maharaj, in the exile of the Pandavas, and in the raw desperation of Gajendra, the king of the elephants, calling out from the jaws of death. Each soul has a pace. Some of us are fighting, some of us are fawning, some of us are frozen mid-verse in the Bhagavad Gita moment, and that's okay. Because this path is not about perfection. It's about integration. It's about progress. So welcome to this sacred space where psychology will help you feel better, and astrology will help you decode your patterns, and Bhagavatam will help you return to the original place. So this is not therapy. This is not prediction. This is Bhagavatology. It's the theology of Bhagavatam, which blends the Vedic psychology and karmic understanding. The art of seeing your suffering as the doorway to your eternal self. So breathe, let your pain speak, let your chart whisper, and let the Bhagavatam roar. And you're not alone. You're exactly where the Lord wants you to begin. Let's walk this path of liberation and integration together. When we don't connect the dots, when we don't sit with our pain, hold it with kindness, or understand why I'm suffering, and then let that insight guide me back to Krishna, then healing is not possible. We only recycle that pain and just say, suppress it, tell the symptom to come back later. Same pattern, maybe different relationship, new job, new mantra, new city, but the same ache, the same longing. It's that God-sized hole in our hearts that we're trying to find substitutes to replace. Then we return in the same karmic loop like actors in a divine drama, changing costumes, changing postcards, but never rewriting the script. Spiritual growth is not about moving on. It's about moving in. Until we go to the root with honesty, with humility, and with light of Srimad Bhagavatam, we will keep repeating our story in a different packaging. But my dear friends, healing is possible when we bring in the clarity of Vedic psychology, karmic precision of astrology, and eternal compassion of Srimad Bhagavatam. And then we stop running away and we begin to see ourselves not as broken, but as beautiful souls in this painting of life, purifying ourselves in the process, and using our pain to understand our lessons. This is the path of, call it Bhagavatology, the theology of Srimad Bhagavatam. And it's time to tell ourselves, I'm sorry. I treated my pain like a problem to solve, not a message to hear. I tried to hack it, hide it, name it, reframe it, but never once did I sit with it and ask, what are you trying to teach me? So it's a time to take a look at ourselves and together decode this path, a beautiful journey. Thank you so much for joining, and I look forward for more of these episodes on this course. Hare Krishna.